What are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master? Facilitate all Scrum ceremonies, remove roadblocks for the team, protect the team from outside distractions, coach the team on Agile Scrum practices and ensuring they follow the Scrum guidelines, help the product owner in defining the value, planning for releases, sprints, and scope. What are main Scrum roles? There are three main Scrum roles. First is Scrum Master. A Scrum Master is responsible for holding it all together and ensuring the Scrum is being followed. Then next is Product Owner. Product Owner is responsible for defining the product backlog. He sets the clear direction for the team as what value to deliver. The third is Development Team. Team is responsible for delivering the value defined by Scrum Master. It is a group of individuals who are developers, testers, designers, writers, etc. What is Agile Manifesto? Agile Manifesto is a set of values and principles behind Agile philosophy. It documents 4 core values. First, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Second, working software over comprehensive documentation. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Fourth, responding to a change over following a plan. What are key Agile metrics? Team velocity, sprint burndown, cumulative flow, lead time, cycle time, code coverage are some of the key metrics in Agile. What is a velocity in Scrum? Velocity is number of story points delivered by the team in the last sprint. We take an average of story points delivered in last 3 sprints by the Scrum team. And we consider only the stories which are fully done for the calculation of velocity. What is a sprint burndown chart? Sprint burndown chart shows total work remaining and total capacity remaining at any point in the sprint. It predicts your team's likelihood of completing the remaining work within the remaining effort in the sprint. How do you track the sprint progress? Sprint progress is tracked by sprint burndown chart. This chart shows how much is the work remaining at any point in the sprint. So if there is a variance between the total work remaining and the total capacity remaining with the team, you can see this on the burndown chart. What is a user story? It is the product backlog item that represents the value to be delivered from customer's perspective. This is the smallest amount of work to be delivered in Agile from the customer's perspective. What is a story point? The story point is a unit of measure for expressing the estimate of overall effort needed to implement a story. It is a relative number that represents complexity, size of the effort, and uncertainty about the story. How do you estimate in Agile? The various techniques for estimation in Agile: poker planning, t-shirt sizing estimates in terms of small, medium, large, extra large, affinity grouping. This technique is used when there are large number of items and you want to estimate those quickly. What is definition of done? It is a list of criteria defined by the team to validate the completeness of a user story in a sprint. This is specific to a team. Once the user story meets all the conditions defined in the definition of done, this moves into a state of done. What is definition of ready? The definition of ready is a list of criteria defined by the team to validate if the story is ready to move from product backlog to development. The emphasis here is to see if the story has all the requirements clearly defined. It is sized appropriately so that it can be done in one sprint. It is estimable, testable, etc. What are the benefits of Agile or Waterfall? Some of the key benefits in Agile are faster time to market, better customer satisfaction, superior quality product, better customer collaboration, highly motivated team, continuous improvement. What is a Scrum Master's role in daily Scrum? Scrum Master facilitates the daily Scrum, helps the team remove the roadblocks, if any. Scrum Master ensures the team is following time boxing and other Scrum guidelines. Scrum Master ensures the team is becoming self-organized and making the decisions for themselves in the sprint. What are the artifacts maintained in the Scrum? Key artifacts in the Scrum are product backlog, sprint backlog, and product increment. What is the role of a product owner? Product owner owns the product backlog. He defines and communicates a value to be delivered by the team. He acts as a bridge between customer and the development team. As a Scrum Master, how can you help product owner? The Scrum Master helps product owner in prioritizing the backlog to maximize the value. He helps to get the estimate from the team. He helps product owner in defining the value to be delivered and ensuring the team has understood that. He coaches the product owner on Agile Scrum. Does a Scrum Master need to know the technology used in the project? No, it is not mandatory for the Scrum Master to know the technology. Although it is always an advantage for the Scrum Master if he or she knows the technology. They can understand team's needs better. What are all the Scrum ceremonies and their purpose? There are 4 Scrum ceremonies. Daily Scrum, which is done every day to plan for the day. Sprint planning, which is done once in a sprint on the first day of the sprint to plan for the sprint. Sprint review, which is done on the last day of the sprint to demonstrate all the work that is done by the team in the sprint. And sprint retrospective, which is also done on the last day of the sprint, where team retrospects what went well, what did not go so well, what is that we need to improve in the next sprint. What is a backlog refinement? The backlog refinement is an ongoing activity in Scrum where team reviews a newly created product backlog item from the perspective of readiness for it to be picked for estimation and sprint planning.